Well, we've seen this story before, ladies and gentlemen. The covering cats are back, and so are the mistakes. It was a affair at Kroger Field, a lot like the first 2 weeks of the season. We're talking about Kentucky's 35-3 win over the Akron Zips. I'm Nick Roush with Adam Luckett and Drew Franklin. And Luckett, it felt like deja vu all over again, except the good felt a little bit better, but also the bad might have been even worse. 2 snaps over the head of Devin Leary for like negative 33 yards. We got muff punts. We got 65-yard touchdowns getting called back. It was, but then like the fun was like, pretty good.
Listen here, Big Blue Nation. It's so late, we got the water mics out. So we're in for a long night.
I don't know what he's talking about. No idea.
But yeah, I think there really was some good in this game. Defense did not allow a touchdown. They got a huge stop after the offense turns it over. If Jordan Dingle fumbles, they come down, force a long field goal. They make a big stop there. Trevin Wallace flashes. Devin Leary averaged over 12 yards per attempt.
It's pretty good.
The 3 Kentucky running backs averaged over 10 yards per carry. Like everything you wanted from that offense we saw tonight, there's bad. The snaps are bad. Holding call on Jagger Burton takes away what would have been the play of the night until we saw Leary make magic a little bit later on a scramble and dub it out to Davis. So there was a lot of good, I thought, from the offense, but it's just like, man, why is it seems so hard. Why is it so hard? Why can't we make this easier? But overall, I thought it was a good performance. Kentucky, again, they covered. They won 35-3, guys. Like, good win. Let's move on to SEC play.
There's good, but having to sidearm while you're being pulled down by 3 guys and another Ray Davis running 300 yards to get 60. It was good, but the offense is still so messy. Second play of the game, we need a timeout. Third game of the year, calling timeouts because 10 men on the field, is that what it was? I mean, they're completely not ready on a scripted play, substituting late. Just so much sloppiness, and some of the things we thought would be awesome, Dane Key, Brandon Brown, we're 3 games in, and outside of Brown and special team in the last 2 games, both those guys have been very disappointing. And it's to the point, is it just this kind of slow sophomore slump overlooking these opponents, or is this going to be an ongoing thing? Because it's now a quarter of the season is behind us, and the SEC play starts a week from tonight.
Well, bottom line, they can't be in a slump. I mean, Kentucky to be what they want to be this season, those guys have to be big-time players for them.
Well, and sometimes big-time players, they want to wait until the lights are a little bit brighter. And I know some of you were out there just like, come on, can we play the real teams? Well, good news, you've got a real team coming up next week, the Vanderbilt Commodores, who just lost to UNLV on the road on a last-second field goal. So it's not exactly a step up in competition, a huge step up in competition, but it is another opportunity for Mark Stoops to yell and scream at his team all week because they're just doing the little things. If you want to be a good, I'm an optimistic guy, right? Like it's 11:30 out here. I'm eating hot dogs and drinking water. We're having a good time, right? We're having a great time.
Hot dog water.
Hot dog water. It's great. It's delicious. And you know what else is pretty good? It's good to see the tight ends get involved in the passing game. Jordan Dingle's catch was awesome until he fumbled it afterwards. And like, an optimist would say, hey, look at what they did, and they still were complete idiots. Like those mistakes were so inexcusable, but yet they still did a lot of awesome. Ray Davis is much better than I anticipated, and Devin Leary,
explosive.
Devin Leary, he's got. I didn't know he had that in him with his feet. Yeah. There was another play earlier where he bought a lot of time. So there are some things I think to still like that. Even though Barryon and Dane haven't done well, we expected a lot from them. The other guys have really stood up, from the tight ends all the way down to Tavion Robinson.
Well, Stoops said in his post-game radio, it's another 30-point win, and I'm pissed off. So in some ways, it's good that there's still things to work on. They're still motivated to get better and improve. But Stoops shouldn't be that red as he was in the press conference coming in after a game like tonight. It's clear he's still very upset, especially with the offense. I mean, he called them out. He began his opening statement with great job by the defense. Now let's talk about this offense.
Yeah, I don't think we should scoff over that. The defense played well tonight.
They got off the field on 3rd down. We talked about that all week, and they did it.
2 things we wanted to see this week. Get off the field on 3rd down.
Get home.
Do not sleep sleepwalk through the second half. They did both of those things.
5 sacks. Pretty good.
They played a lot of the twos. Like, a lot of the twos got in and made plays. We saw Jordan Robinson at cornerback for the first time this year. Tyrese Fearbury flash. Tommy Zeismer got the sack in the game. True freshman out of Boyle County.
Closed that back door. He slammed it shut.
Mr. Franklin might have been nervous up here in the press box.
Listen, Kentucky, I love you covering. Can we do it a little earlier in the game? These late rushing touchdowns just to hit the back door at the last minute. A little rough on the heart here.
Shout out to Demi Sumo-Karmbe. Shout out to JQ Hardaway, who got exposed a couple times the first 2 weeks of the season, but then had 2 great plays to
ball production. We got pass breakups today, and that's been a problem for Kentucky to this point in the season.
Yeah.
So that was good to see. So I think the defense did some good things. It's just offensively, I think the biggest problem people are having is you see the highs.
Yes.
You're like, man, like when Devin Leary is on, he can cook some fools. Well, when these wide receivers are on, we got a chance to really do some things. Ray Davis is more elusive in the open field than I think anybody thought.
Yeah. He's a big playmaker.
But it's just the stub in your toe that is happening over and over, whether it's penalties, whether it's getting the ball, good field position. This is the 2nd week in a row, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Last week they threw the interception on 3rd down. The defensive lineman makes a great play. This week they have to settle for a field goal and then delay a game. They have to end up punting.
The interception, complete miscommunication. There's just self-inflicted everything.
That's two with Leary and Key, where it looks like miscommunication. Like, what's going on there on the interceptions?
I think Luckett said, 17 times in the press box, this offense just can't get out of their way.
Yeah.
I mean, over and over. And the part that doesn't make sense, I think it's hard for our brains to comprehend that they can be so good and so bad at the same time. Like, it just doesn't, something there doesn't work. I don't know why. Our brains can't handle it, but we're going to have to handle it for another week. We're going to be a month into the season, a quarter of the way through the season, Drew, and I feel like this team, even though we've learned some more, they haven't done a ton of things differently than what they were doing in week 1.
So in the second half, I'm mad they're doing so well right now because it's going to get over the disappointment. I'm still mad about the first half, but they did just enough at the end to get me excited for next week.
7-0 late in the second quarter again.
Yeah.
Leary, wow, that was a ball. And that was a great catch by Tavion Robinson for the 22-yard touchdown. And that kind of took the lid off everything. And then it was just a parade of explosive plays there in the second half. It's just, you feel like if they could ever get going, you really do feel like they could really start cooking and really be a bear to deal with because of how explosive they can be on offense. But there's it's just they're stubbing their toe. You got to get past that.
But when you look at the schedule, a lot of scores today that are on Kentucky's schedule.
We want Bama?
Bama, Georgia, whoever. Obviously Kentucky has plenty of their own problems, but when you look around the conference, there's lots of teams looking in the mirror with problems to fix 3 games into the year.
There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of potential. This team has a very high ceiling. They got to get out of their own dumb, stupid way. Next week, the Cats hit the road to open SEC play. It's a nooner, 11 a.m. local time. The beers are going to be cold on Broadway and in the construction zone that is Vanderbilt Memorial Stadium, whatever the hell they call it nowadays.
First Bank Stadium / construction site.
Are we getting dressed in a locker room? Or they have a tent? Are we ready for even have a locker room yet?
We're just going to wear our pads to the game.
I think they have a beam with a table up there for the media to sit.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Kentucky, will they get it figured out? Probably not. It's probably just going to be a lot of this for the foreseeable future. But they got 2 weeks before Florida Gators come to town. They got to be ready for that. Until next time, go Cats and go Kroger.